rip this real quick.
The art of bringing ideas to life, going behind the scenes at IdeaPros. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa. I'm the Director of Marketing at IdeaPros, and I have a special guest with me, Dana Owens. We fondly call him D-Tunes or Dana Tunes. Hello, and he is awesome. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him, but I'm going to let him explain his journey and tell you guys what he does at IdeaPros. So D-Tunes is a lead content creator and animator at IdeaPros, but he's so much more than that. And I've never heard this word, entrepreneur.
Art,
Entrepreneur?
entrepreneur, yes.
There we go. And freelance commercial artist. So obviously, tell us, well, what does that mean exactly?
Well, I guess I'm a freelance commercial artist. I say because, and I'm an entrepreneur because I've always created. Uh, I've always been able to earn money and income, more or less by being creative and doing various art projects. And I like I'm a commercial artist in the respect that I create for a client, if that makes any
Gotcha.
sense.
You get paid for the art
Well,
before it's
sometimes, most
created.
of the time, yeah.
Well, and some of his artwork is behind him. We're going to take a look at the things that he creates at IdeaPros, but most of our journey for our products and apps, I mean, they start as a napkin idea and they have to be built by engineers, by designers like D-Tunes, by, and you'd say like 3D modeling artists, kind of, right, that are going to put the skin and the design together. So where did this journey start for you?
Well, the 3D stuff kind of started about a year or so ago when I was working at Idea Pros because I'd always done like, well, let's back up a little because like the whole process is sometimes people come to us with an idea and sometimes they have a CAD, like an engineering file, or even if they don't, then they'll go through our engineering phase where the engineering team, they take, whatever sketches that these partners have and they're like, all right, well, let's make it a reality. And then once that 3D model is created, then they go off to engineering and they start building that shit. But then they bring the CAD to me, and then I take that and create like marketing assets for it. Like I make it look a little bit prettier. We throw it into some photos, lifestyle images, mostly for pitch decks or for marketing videos. Basically, they call it like marketing assets, marketing criteria. So
And it's all critical because it's very expensive to get your first run of products, to get your prototype. So being able to create something that can get buy-in early and excite those investors, or even to get the funding, some of these I would say startup groups, I'm trying to think of what they're called, but they actually get your initial funding or seed funding. So you have to have some really good assets so that people can understand what you're trying to create. So
yeah, basically you gotta fake it till you make it. And luckily, with technology and the talent and skill we have at our job, it's a lot of fun to try to do that. It's funny because actually before I worked at Idea Pros, I worked for these commercial real estate developers, and they were always putting together pitch decks to show to investors. And the idea with that, when I first started learning how to really create good pitch decks, it really came down to them telling us or telling me how it's like you gotta sell the dream. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
And I actually originally I went to school for illustration, which is basically so going back a little bit before the when I first I've always commercial artists, but when I went to school for illustration, the first day of class was my teacher said to us, he goes, the difference between a fine artist and a commercial artist is that the fine artist will make art and then try to sell it, but the commercial artist sells the art and then makes it. And that's always resonated with me. And so, I love creating artwork, and like all of these, back there are just fun more for me. But what really gets my creative juices is when I'm working for somebody and trying to get their visual out. And so that kind of ties into the whole pitch deck concept, where it's like the concept, the whole idea of the pitch deck is to create sell the dream, tell the story of what you're trying to do. And, taking that and bringing it into Idea Pros is really cool because learning all of these 3D things and the CAD stuff, it really takes that whole telling a story to get investors or whatever to the next level. You know
And
what I mean?
I have to just brag on D-Tunes for a second here because he is so good at what he does. You guys are going to see this come to life on the screen in front of us. But pitch decks, sales sheets, I mean, he's so flexible and he really takes the content, like you said, he knows that there's a story that you're trying to tell. And magically, he can make that come to life in these presentations or the renderings. And we're just very, very fortunate to have him. I know you guys met Bobby, and he was talking about branding last week, who's a very important part of our marketing team. And this team is so awesome. I just am so thankful that they are with me. We wouldn't be able to do anything for our partners without you guys. So thank
No, it
you.
takes a village, it
It
takes a
does.
village. It takes a group of talented people that come together. I mean, Fred always says you got to be crazy to be an entrepreneur. And, we are crazy in our own little ways. And I think that's why we work really well together, in
Yes,
different
absolutely.
facets. And Bobby
Everybody
too,
has
like
their
he's
specialty.
really good at doing the branding thing. And a lot of times I'll take his branding designs and then skim them onto the product. And between the two of us, it's kind of like a team, like a band. It's
Yeah.
like you need a drummer, but then you need a guitarist to kind of complement the drum. You know what I mean?
Ironically, you have a piano behind you, and we
Yes.
know that you play music as well. So
Yes.
very,
All
very
around. Yeah.
talented artist in all of the outlets that you can possibly be.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's the alternative? Stay busy, stay productive, stay creative. Yeah.
Right, right. Well, show us some of the things that you've worked on. I'm going to go ahead and share your screen,
Sure.
and I'll let you explain it because I know this one's fascinating to me.
Nice. Okay, so one of our partners is they create this really unique sherbet out of I think the Bahamas, and so they wanted to put a pitch deck together to bring it to some investors, and they're trying to get into like some big name grocery stores. So they wanted some really good looking shit. You know what I mean? So basically, what they did was they had a label created, and then I've been using this some 3D software from Adobe. So I'll find like 3D CADs that are already online because there's a huge repository of websites that offer these CADs that other people design, but some generic ones. So I came in for this one in particular. I came in and I created this whole scene, this whole 3D scene, and we slapped their logo on here. And then what's cool about this is when things render out nice, they render really cool. And then you can
It's
render
very
these out
crisp.
very crisp, very high res, and then you can render those out into nice photos or
Ta-da!
images that you can use for lifestyle shots. Like
Yeah,
this one, and then
absolutely.
yeah, and again, going back to like talking about pitch decks, it's like you got to sell the dream. So I mean, obviously there's some stock images in the back, but you got two attractive looking people sucking down on some ice cream.
Right, right. And it's like it's a story happening just between them. So you mean
Exactly.
without even the ice cream, you've got a story going on.
Exactly. And a lot of times layout is important too, so it's kind of like I learned this a lot in the media methods class I once took about design and the hierarchy about information. And the top left corner of an image is usually the most important first spot looked at. And the idea is people read left to right. So I also use a lot of Fibonacci code, the image of Fibonacci's spiral in design.
Yes.
And what that does is it kind of follows the line. So in this case, I have the logo to the left, and then as the eye will go to the right, you kind of see how it moves to the right, and then you have the focus of the image. These people, this hot chick sucking on some ice cream, and then as the Fibonacci code will curve down, and down here you got the imagery, the high res 3D imagery.
And yeah, absolutely. And Patrick asked, he's curious if this is geared towards clients or more for raising money or both. And in this case, it was an early money raising, but the same thing applies when we're creating sales sheets that are going to go, out to a distributor, or if we're creating the website. So all of this, and D-Tunes works on our website designs as well.
Right.
So all of this imagery, how you use it, that image on a website is going to be amazing, so it's just awesome.
Well, the other
And
thing too is when you think about pitch decks, I have some side companies that I'm working trying to grow myself, and I'm designing pitch decks. But a pitch deck is something that should never just be a one and done kind of thing. There's always improvements that can be done on a pitch deck. And the beauty about Google Slides, what we use a lot of Google Slides is you can create a master pitch deck with all of these random slides and then pick and choose what slides you want geared towards whoever you're pitching to.
yes.
So if you're going, like, we had one that was mask related coronavirus. So I had to create two pitch deck or two sales sheets. One was a sales sheet's basically elevator pitch, one pager, but one was geared towards like the medical field, and then the other was geared towards like the entertainment industry. So again, it all comes down to telling a story. And when you're trying to tell a story, you want to know who the audience is you're telling the story to, so you can convey the story it's like telling a joke. You want to make sure you know the audience before you blurt out some stupid shit.
So true, so true. So there were a couple more shots I think you had that you were going to show us. I don't know if they were for Creamery, for Islands Original, which, oh my gosh, I'm excited for it to come.
So that one, and then here's another one. We put some more stock.
Right, and the shapes, and it's just awesome. So this, when you're combining for partners that work with us, when we're creating pitch decks, it is designed. There's a set framework that we use for pitch decks, which is based on the Airbnb kind of template of main slides that you need, and it's always Fred talks about it all the time. It's minimalistic. I mean, you want to keep the data to a minimum. You don't want to have a 500 slide pitch deck. So we're very strategic in the content that we're putting in those pitch decks as well. And DTunes has created many, many good ones where I'm like, this is amazing. I know we can't show you all of them.
When it comes to pitch decks, less is more.
Yes.
But you also have to be succinct, and you have to be impactful. And again, that's why being a designer and creating pitch decks is a lot of fun, because you're telling a story, but you kind of have to tell it. Because think about it on the other side of the coin, the guy looking there at the pitch deck, you got to think about your audience. You don't want him to be bored the fuck out of his mind. You know what I'm saying? You want him to be engaged, whatever. But when I worked for the brokers, a lot of the investors that they would approach they would say, oh, these are just older dudes. So throw a lot of women in the pitch deck for lifestyle. And as stupid as it sounds, if you're trying to get that investor to throw you some cash, you got to throw him some imagery that he's going to look at.
Right. Well, you definitely don't want him to get bored.
Well, I used to put the bustier women on the slides with all of the numbers and data, just so when whoever was looking at it, be like, oh, this is important data information, but
maybe he's not as focused on the numbers.
Exactly.
Well, I know you have some other renderings, some video that you also would love to show us. So DTunes is creating videos, might be going on a landing page, they might be going on the website, or in some cases they are going to be shown at a trade show way early in the product development process. So you might have a prototype and you go to a trade show and you're trying to get the early purchase order buy-in. So this one is awesome. I'm gonna put this up on the screen. Yeah, so cool.
This partner, these guys are pretty fucking cool. They created this thing.
It's a life-saving thing.
Yeah, basically they created this unit that you would apply to a side of a building in flood, high flood zones, and you would pull a cord, and then this float would come out, and then everybody jumps on the float, and they're rescued. Or they could at least float away to get rescued. But what's cool though is they wanted some really good imagery, and with all this 3D stuff. And actually, I got to give Ira a lot of credit, because he's the one that was like, oh, you should try Unreal Engine, because I've been doing a lot of these 3D stills, and he was telling me, oh, well, you should try 3D engine or Unreal Engine, because what that'll do is take these 3Ds and add movement. So for this particular project was the first time I actually got a chance to fuck around with Unreal Engine. And what was cool was I was able to create this video, and not all of it is, a lot of it's like video templates through After Effects. but there's some animations on here.
It's going a little fast, so don't worry.
Yeah,
This
yeah, I'm
isn't how
fast forward. That's
it
weird.
doesn't normally go this fast. But
No, I'm
the
scrubbing
arc,
through. But
which is
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
they're going to be using this video. Well, is this the final video that they're going to use for
Yeah,
the trade show?
this
Yeah.
is the video that's going to run on a loop.
Yes, awesome. Okay, yes,
So,
show us.
Yeah, so this is like one of the scenes. You know, we had to show how their thing worked. So I, animated this in 3D in Unreal Engine. Now this is some of their test footage of how it's working. You know, they had but it's like using a combination of both their raw footage and some of these CADs, these animated CADs that put together and help sell the story. You know,
That's amazing.
So here's another.
Yeah, so this
Star
is
Wars looking thing.
I was going to say, we're looking at, it kind of feels like an iPhone when you're zooming through, you know, and then there's bullet points. And I love how you did that. It looks like almost a beacon kind of thing. Oh, and the animated logo sting too.
Yeah, you animate the logos thing. You know, all of these are all different components. I'm just scrubbing through here.
So you guys should check it out because they are, I mean, you need these for your house. So for sure, I know they might be sharing this video out. Oh, and that's great. We actually do have apps as well that we work with. So we do create videos when the app is ready to go into the app store. There's a little, walkthrough videos that DTunes has worked on before too.
Yeah. No, I've been doing a lot of those animations. It's funny because it's like when you're overly creative, you're kind of like, oh, there's so much shit that I can do. Blah, blah, blah.
There's a lot, and we love that you have such a creative mind because it really comes back to helping all of our partners to be able to get their products to life. And that's really what this whole show was about, the art of bringing ideas to life. And so thank you so much, DTunes, for being here. We really, really appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing more of what you're creating on our website as we launch more and more products. We have ideapros.com/launch-party. That's new things that are coming out. So you can check out some of DTunes' work is definitely mixed in there somewhere, all over. Thank you. And we'll see you next time, DTunes.
Alrighty.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you guys all showing up every single Friday at noon Pacific time. Patrick, Joe, I know we have Bongo and Scott, Odin. Great to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. And Alfredo and Leticia, thank you for always being here. Leticia is she's my backup buddy. She will make sure that next time, because we had savers fall off on the show, or I fell off, Miss Leticia can pop in and save the day. So she knows how to do that now. Kelly Reed and Sean Reed with Sage Scheduler, both of those guys are such diehards on our show. So thank you. Vanessa, great to see you. Brandon, Abel, Katie. I know I can't even, you guys, there's so many today. So DTunes brought quite a crowd. Jay Benoit, good to see you. Paul, Jerry, nice to see you. Good to have you on the live. Mark and Donna. And oh my goodness. Okay, I can't even get through them all. But guys, thank you so much for being here every single Friday. And next week, we do have Fred back, I hope. But I love showcasing the marketing team. I really appreciate all the work that they've done and all of our partners that are working so hard on their projects as well. I know a lot of people that come here for information week in and week out. We are here to support you guys as entrepreneurs. So all of these shows are over on ideapros.com/blog. And we hope to see you over there. And I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks so much. Bye.